How's it going, Andrew?
Hey, Matt. We're back here doing our podcast, hanging out. We got another guest today. Very excited.
We do. I am excited for this guest. This should be a good time.
What have you been up to, man?
I just got back from the hunting cabin today. I was up there from Friday night through today, so that try to get a little bow hunting in. The schedule hasn't really allowed for much this year. This was the one and only time I got to go. And Saturday was really active. Saw 11 deer between 7:30 and 11.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I was tripping over them. I walked around for a little bit and stuff. Didn't get a shot at any of them. Saw a couple shooters. Tried stalking a really big one, but he busted me and took off.
What does busted mean?
He figured out I was there.
Oh, you've been busted.
Yeah, he spooked. He had walked past me without a clear shot, and so I decided my best course of action, because I was pretty sure I knew where he was heading. I decided my best course of action was to kind of try to head him off. And I ended up coming up just behind him, and then we had about a 5-minute interaction of me taking one step, him looking and staring at me, and me staring at him, and then him going back to smelling the ground because he was trailing another buck. And every time he would put his head back down, I'd get one more step, and he'd look up, and we were staring at each other again. And I was just trying to, with the bow, get in range and get a nice clear shot, but it wasn't meant to be.
What's the range you try to get when you're shooting bow? How close do you have to get?
I'll take a shot out to 30 yards right now. That's
what,
where my
40s max probably for a really good hunter?
No, you got guys that go out west, go elk hunting, that'll take 60 or 80 yard shots.
Holy moly.
Current compound bows are really fast, so you can kind of get away with some of those longer shots now. I don't have enough room anywhere on my property that would be a clear shot that long for the most part, and I've never really practiced that long. So
you don't want to shoot at a buck potentially just injure it because you're not confident in the shot.
My ethical range is 30 yards. That's my max. So
if you're doing it with a bow, it's 30 to 40. If you're a master, 60, and a rifle would be 100?
Yeah, or 300.
Holy moly.
Or more. If you go out west where you got a lot of room, a lot of guys will take 500, 600 yard shots.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
We all love hunting here in Wisconsin, and I've never gone, so I'm going to put you on the hook one of these days. Take me out there.
Yeah, we'll go turkey hunting.
Yeah,
I'd go
turkey hunting. That sounds fun. Well, I guess we probably should get this show started and kick it on the road, huh?
Yep.
Right. Here comes the music.
Loosen up your ties and roll up your sleeves. It's time for Fellowship with Matt and Andrew. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin or any other Grand Lodge or any appended body.
All right, well, we have a very special guest. Can you help us introduce him, Matt?
Sure. Hopefully I'll remember all of his titles. Today we have Trent Vukodinovich with us, who is a past master and currently sitting master for the second time in 3 years down at Burlington Lodge. He is in the line for both Burlington Chapter and Burlington Council. He is currently the Eminent Commander of Burlington Commandery, and he's in the line at the Shrine. Are you still president of the Shrine Club down there, too?
No. Okay. Way too much on my plate.
Good.
Sounds like it.
Good. He's also a member of the Highlanders over at the Shrine, which I know we all love.
Gotta love some bagpipes.
Just a few people from here. Yeah.
So how you doing today, Trent?
Doing pretty good. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Heck yeah, we're having, we like to bring people in, especially, just guys that we know around the area to talk about Masonry and talk about life and, all that good stuff, what we're feeling in our hearts and souls.
Right, exactly. So we're going to start off with our typical first question.
Yeah, let's do the first question that we'd like to ask all Masons every time. What got you into Masonry? Why the heck are you here? Why are you staying here? What's going on?
So honestly, it all started, my grandfather was a Freemason. He was a Mason about 66 years or so before his passing. Obviously super active in the community, not just with Masonry, but other stuff through the church and everything else. And it's like, well, okay, I mean, if I can kind of halfway follow in those footsteps, I think I'm doing okay. So after a while, I kind of realized, okay, I'll jump in, do this, and kind of was off the races from there, honestly. So
after a while, how long have you been a Mason now?
I was raised, I think, in 2015.
2015, so 8 years.
8 years now, yeah.
So you were about 22 then when you
22
became a Master Mason?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's the oldest looking 30-year-old I know.
I know, right? Hey, it was really beneficial when it was right around like 2019, so.
Right. And he's also one of the youngest Masons in general that I know, especially to have, done so much stuff. What made you decide to get so active, being the outlier probably age-wise?
I guess a mix of things. I mean, Burlington, we got a pretty tight group of core people, I guess, that come around. I mean, we only have probably about 7 or so in the whole lodge itself, but we regularly have 10 to 15 guys show up on a regular basis, and they just kind of motivated me to kind of get more involved and get just kind of jump in and help out. I mean, especially since we're a smaller lodge, I mean, we don't have the resources like some of the bigger lodges do. So it was kind of all hands on deck, and I kind of like putting in the work. So,
how have things been going at Burlington? I know you guys have been doing a lot of building work in the last couple of years, trying to build a stronger foundation. You've been at a lot of cool events that have been coming up, and I've seen since when I first started compared to now, a lot more activity coming out of Burlington too.
Yeah, and I think it's just we got some fresh faces in there. I mean, with myself kind of running it a couple of years now, and having finally some Masons younger than myself that are starting to get active and involved. We're just kind of throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what's kind of a good idea we can do. What's something to get more new faces in, and kind of go from there. And luckily, a lot of those new things are sticking. So we're seeing a lot more people not only interested, but getting involved with the lodge again, too.
No, that's excellent. Getting membership buy-in, especially when you're trying to do new things, is huge. I mean, it's absolutely critical that they agree with the vision that you're trying to execute and agree with putting in the work to be more active.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love when you get that young blood coming in, because I feel like it always has a lot more energy. Where it's not saying that older Masons don't have energy, but they've been doing it so long that they kind of fall into like a routine of, this is what we do at the lodge. It's nice, I think they appreciate it too, because when the bunch of young guys come in, they bring an energy that I think is contagious. And you'll see that some of those older members who might have been sitting on the sideline kind of get excited, and then they start to get more involved because, it kind of puts a little bit of juice in the tank and gets it kind of fired up, which is always really cool. And I think in Wisconsin, we're seeing a lot more younger members. I'm noticing in the last 4 years. I've been noticing when I first joined, I saw mostly older Masons, and now I'm seeing a lot of younger Masons coming in after COVID.
Yeah, I'm definitely noticing that too, even in District 11 where Burlington's at. I mean, a lot of the lodges are starting to get younger guys, and I think people my age are starting to realize, there's more to just talking online or doing computer screen stuff and doing the face-to-face stuff again.
I think that's where Masonry can be successful in bringing some of the younger crowd in, is everybody, especially after COVID, is so used to non-face-to-face, non-actual human interaction. Everything happens online or in that kind of setting, where we offer a personal human-to-human interaction, right? And
definitely.
It's interesting. So within Freemasonry, we were just talking about how in one aspect we have this face-to-face interaction that's super, I think, people are seeking it out more and more. What other things within the symbolism of Masonry do you think are really jiving with people or jiving with yourself as far as what's really been resonating with you within the philosophies of Freemasonry?
Oh, man. So you guys got the hard-hitting questions. It's good. It's resonating. So really just, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily call myself an esoteric kind of guy, but just being able to kind of see all of the good. I like doing ritual work, but seeing all the good come from that and seeing real-world applications and trying to correlate that, especially with some of the newer guys. It's like, what is all this old fancy language and stuff? And it's like, okay, here's how you can interpret it kind of thing. And we got a couple guys that are actually really good at kind of interpreting that now. So helping bridge that gap a little bit.
Yeah, make it more palatable, make it more applied instead of just in a head space, I think is a huge part of mentorship of these younger guys, is being like, how do we take this from our ritual and actually integrate it in a way that can actually be kind of, helpful. It's nice to be helpful.
Really bringing it into the 21st century for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I noticed Trent discovered the little fun trick Andrew discovered back in episode 2.
Yeah.
If you bump the mic cable there, yep. You get a little dunk. It sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It's like music, dude. Oh yeah.
We could start jamming out in here.
So, what would you say, Trent, would be the best advice? We have a man sitting over here who's going to be going into the East if elected. If we choose to elect.
Famous last words. Yeah.
I honestly think this is just a good question of anyone to ask past masters that's even at any point in the line. And we are in installation coming up on election and installation season, and there's a lot of guys out there that are going to be going into the East potentially for their first time. Mm-hmm. So I've personally been doing this every time I interact with a past master and haven't had the opportunity to ask the question. I ask the question. I wish I would have been writing everybody's answers down,
right? Because
it would have been really cool to be able to compile them. I've asked so many people this question already, but it's interesting to see what somebody who's been there is one big piece of advice that they would give a new incoming worshipful master.
On top of having a good plan for your year, just being able to kind of go with the flow. I mean, there's a lot of variables obviously that happen throughout the year. So, say something's going well, or say you have an event plan, and you're like, oh, well, actually we can be doing this, or hey, we have more candidates than we get degrees. And just trying to have that flexibility, not only just running a good calendar, but being able to just kind of adjust on the fly and still kind of make it enjoyable for everybody.
Excellent. I like that one. Yeah, it's a good piece of advice.
What do you think your biggest challenge was as you are going through your second year as a master of a lodge? What have been the biggest challenges you've had to face within those 2 years?
Oh, man. I've definitely noticed, I mean, having gone through it the one time, this year seems easier in a sense almost, just because you have that experience and you kind of know what to expect. But, I mean, there's obviously always challenges that pop up, or just random events or unexpected expenses or whatever. So just being able to kind of adapt to that and just trying to keep things fresh. I mean, this year was mainly really focusing on just kind of having fun again. Having a nice young line, just kind of having fun inside the lodge room, outside the lodge room, just being able to just bond as much as we can.
I think we often overlook the importance of fellowship when it comes to being a well-rounded, well-functioning lodge.
Yeah.
If you don't like each other, it's not like super fun to be in the lodge, so it's important to build.
It makes it tough, yeah.
Bonding and creating, spreading the cement of brotherly love and actually building us into. It builds us into not only a more fun place to be, but it also helps people align. Mm-hmm. So you're actually able to do more if you can be friends together, because then it's easier to work together. And I've always found that the closer the lodge is, the more included everyone feels. I feel like the better ideas that come out of that lodge, the more work they do, because it kind of adds to the passion, because they don't want to let each other down.
Right.
So, I think it's super important to still educate our members and teach Masonry, but at the same time understand that brotherly love is one of our tenets as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big factor for getting new members in. I mean, they see all the historical stuff and that, but what's going to keep them going regularly? I mean, when I first joined, it was all business meetings, and there was little beyond that. So changing the environment a little bit and making more time for just fun and fellowship, I mean, I think that went a long ways, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Getting everybody outside of the lodge room, and honestly, especially if you can do it with your officer line and get most of your officers to hang out outside of the lodge room, you become a tighter-knit group, and everybody gets more comfortable, and they get more comfortable asking these kinds of questions and stuff like that, and it makes everything work better. Right?
Yeah.
What have you been doing within the lodge to help foster that fun atmosphere? Have you I know that the way we do business is so old fashioned, and we haven't modified it in a lot of lodges. And there are better ways to actually make the business meeting less long and tedious and more efficient, so that you can make more time for fun.
Right.
Like, what kind of things have you been doing?
So we usually only have like one business meeting a month, typically. So I try and streamline the business that we need to cover as much as I can, and obviously trying to get the other officers involved, especially like the newer guys. The back half of my line completely, there's no one they're all new. So that's a huge step for Burlington especially. And I know a lot of other lodges kind of are starting to be in that same place. So beyond that, try and streamline it as much as I can, and then just kind of being able to have the time either after in the building or going to wherever afterwards. Just being able to continue talking and bounce ideas, and then using our other designated night. I mean, it was a stated night. We tweaked our bylaws a little bit, but
we did a similar thing at just recently as well.
Yeah.
Try to make that more of an open day that we can use for degree work,
right?
Or you can do for practice, or you can hang out.
Yeah, so it's degree, education, or social essentially is our second meeting night of the year. And luckily we've been able to do a couple of degrees this year, but for the most part, it's always something fun. Either like gentlemen's nights, either getting our guys together, local brothers together, prospective members together, along with just kind of getting out of the building and just doing things in town. I mean, getting into the community and just being there. So,
what do you guys do for your gentleman's night?
So gentleman's night, that was a concept we started a couple of years ago now. I think that was right before my first year as master. We started that. It was originally started kind of as like let's get some new membership, the new faces in. So it's kind of like a membership drive almost. So we get dispensation from the Grand Lodge to do some beer samplings. We have a lot of beer connoisseurs in our lodge. They do
There's a lot of Masonic beer and whiskey connoisseurs for some reason.
No, there is.
Say a handful of guys are those diehards that sit out there on Black Friday and get like all the collections and stuff from all the breweries, and
nice.
Usually have full fridges by now, so it's about the right time to start emptying their fridge for new stock.
You gotta trim the grass on that one.
Exactly. But yeah, it's open to brothers. Doesn't have to be from Burlington, anywhere in the state really. Plus any men over 21 that are either interested or just want a fun night out, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you could have people under 21 that just don't drink too and just come hang out too.
Yeah, so we do have non-alcoholic options, of course, too. But it's kind of geared towards, okay, well, how do we get the future in? How do we
create an event that people would enjoy?
Right, and that was something that I think myself and another brother kind of brought up right away, because, we typically go out to have a drink after a lot meeting or something like that. So it's like, okay, we can do some sampling and get some new tastes going on and have some fun with it.
See, I don't even call going out and grabbing a pint after Lodge grabbing a pint. I call it the think tank. That's where all the ideas come from.
It really is. A lot of the other stuff does happen after.
That's where you think tank and workshop ideas. You get the buy-in, and then at the next meeting, you're able to present a well-polished. Well, after you kind of remember what you all went over, well-polished, idea. I've seen, that's another reason. I was talking about how important fellowship is. In that fellowship time, you'll find that we're not sitting there talking about the Packer game. A lot of the times after a meeting, we're talking about stuff that's going on at Lodge, like, this is a problem, we should fix this, or this is going well, we should, try to get more.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this? Whatever. Yeah. Across the board.
Oh my God, you love beating up
I'm all over the place, Jesus.
Yeah. I think Trent just taught us we need different microphone stands.
You just set your face, don't they?
Right?
So, we know you recently had a unique experience, and I don't know if you conferred all three of them or if you just conferred his Master Mason degree, but your dad just joined your lodge.
Yes.
And I know you at least raised him.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience?
So it was unique. Like I only did his Master Mason degree, but I've done quite a few over the years now, and I gotta say this is definitely probably the most unique and special raising that I've ever done, just because my dad. So he had always kind of had some interest, but before he retired a couple years ago, he was working second shift, so I was like, I'm not going to join anything while I'm not available to.
That makes sense.
It's like, okay, now that I got time, now that I'm free, it's like, all right, tell me what this is all about. So had a conversation, got him through his stuff, and luckily, a couple weeks ago now, we raised him to Master Mason. So it's very special.
Did he mention his thoughts about what the experience was like for him, or is he like a classic dad who just shoves it down on the inside?
You say he really didn't show any emotion that I saw, at least. But I was probably trying to keep my act together a little bit too. So, but no, it was very cool. I think he really enjoyed it. I talked to him a little bit about it after. It's like, yeah, they say it all makes sense now, going through everything. So, I like it.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't think a lot of people have I feel like the experience with Masons is a lot of Masons are more likely to raise their children than their fathers. So that's kind of a unique one that I feel like you don't see very often. I've definitely seen before the grandparent raising a grandson or a kid of theirs, which is always cool. Someone always cries, if not both, or sideliners might cry too. Just a big tear fest.
Definitely, yeah.
So I have a somewhat loaded question for you.
Uh-oh.
we went through all your titles before, right?
Yeah.
And you have 3 kids at home, youngest one being 6 weeks old.
About 6 weeks, yep.
How do you balance all of that and not have a wife that is completely mad at you all the time?
Well, I gotta say, she does have her moments. But no, my wife is definitely a saint for letting me putting up with all this stuff. I mean, I joined most of these organizations all like pre-her and pre-marriage and kids. So after we got to that point, it's like, okay, are you still okay with me doing this? Do you want me to cut back? It's like, no, just do it. I don't think she realized at the time how involved some of this was being and getting put into the lines and all that stuff. But she's awesome. She's super supportive about it. Definitely wants me home a little more regularly now, especially now with the 3rd kid here. But we're finding a good balance again. And after I finish some of these fancy titles off, start stepping back a little bit too and letting some of the future people kind of run it again. So
there you go. Step into more of a counselor role.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to go away by any means, but kind of hand off the reins and like, all right, I did this. You see what you can do now.
I think that's like one of the biggest challenges being a Mason is we're all passionate and we love this organization and we don't know how to say no because so many groups need help and then you want to help, but then you suddenly find yourself overly committed. And I think it's really prudent as Masons. I think everyone goes through the cycle of overcommit and then back away. It's like the Masonic initiation part 2. They have to say yes, and then they have to start slowly letting people down, being like, I can't do it, man. I'm dying. I'm here 3 days a week, 4 days a week. My wife's going to divorce me, man. I got to figure this out.
Yeah, no kidding.
So within all these bodies that you're within and sitting in, which one do you think has had the greatest impact on you?
Say they're all kind of unique in their own way, to be honest with you. I mean, Lodge kind of got me to where I am now and the confidence to kind of get involved with these other groups for sure. Obviously with York Rite, I mean, when you're talking about Commandery, that's really like the big leagues of ritual work, to put it simply. I mean, that's a scary task. I mean, especially since we're getting into that degree season now for Commandery and the Order of the Temple coming up for everybody. It's a lot of work, but I mean, I've learned quite a bit from them as well. And then the Shrine's just, I mean, great group of guys. There's so many opportunities for people to get involved, whether it's Highlanders like I have been, or Pirates, the new pirate unit at III. Yeah, I mean that's taken off like hotcakes, man. I mean,
you're probably going to be mad at me about this, but I am a pirate.
I figured you might be. We'll get you in a kilt soon enough. Don't worry.
Maybe one of these days.
Yeah.
I like kilts. I just don't know about marching and parade in one.
I think one of these days I'm going to want to be a Highlander, but I just want to be the big drum guy.
Well, we need everybody at this point. Yeah, I mean, we'll teach you how to play these instruments too.
I'll just carry a sword. I have no musical ability whatsoever.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think I am tempo deaf, so it might be really hard. But
say, as long as you can kind of put one foot in front of the other, you're going to be totally fine. We'll teach you the rest.
It does look fun, and they do look pretty slick in the kilts.
They do.
Definitely.
So, which one of these, or I guess, what do I want to know about you, Trent?
Oh boy,
I want to get out of you. What would you say? In what ways has Masonry influenced your personal life and your relationships? There's the pre-Mason and then there's the post-Mason you. What do you think? I think that people find that when they actually self-reflect, there is actually a lot of very subtle ways that Masonry does have an influence. What way do you think that's happened to you?
Man. Yeah. I mean, I'm a totally different person pre-Mason, post-Mason. I mean, I don't know if I can necessarily pinpoint one thing, but I mean, it's kind of night and day. I mean, I wasn't necessarily afraid to talk to people in public or whatever, but I mean, now, I mean, I have no issue talking to people or going on podcasts or, but I mean, making myself more comfortable being able to talk about anything really. I mean, Masonry, personal life, whatever, plus just getting that skill set to kind of balance things and take things from there. I mean, it's really night and day.
Speaking, and especially public speaking, seems to be a common point that comes out of that, like your unexpected benefits of Freemasonry, right?
Yeah.
Like you never thought that was a skill you would gain from becoming a Freemason, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm better at talking to people in general, but I'm way better at standing in front of a room of people and talking now.
Yep. As you increase in knowledge, you will improve in social discourse. I think it actually also boils down, I think behind the scenes, what we're saying, we say it's public speaking, I think it's confidence. I think that being a Mason builds your confidence, and that includes speaking, and a lot of the fears around public speaking is an issue with confidence, and being confident and being able to do it, and being afraid or nervous, that's a lack of confidence. And I think that confidence kind of reflects in, one, building leadership skills. You feel confident that you can actually put together and make something happen. And you could think that before Masonry, I never ran anything, like not an event, or anything like that. And Masonry gives you the opportunity to learn to do things and actually, like, you know, manifest your will and say, I'm going to make this thing happen. I have people who I can get buy-in from. And you kind of learn how to do that work of the interpersonal communication and like get stuff going. And I think that's one big way that Masonry makes men better, is it makes them able to do stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I feel the same way. Absolutely.
Well, and every now and then it's helpful when you get like a push from somebody else, like, hey, I'm just going to need you to do this. And you're like,
when you get nudged in a certain direction, right?
Okay, I'll figure it out.
You have accountability buddies.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cool. What do you think is one of the most memorable experiences you've gained within Masonry? Does anything stick out that you've done in your Masonic career that sets apart, that you really have fond memories of?
I guess beyond raising my own father, that was pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty recent, though. Building off of that confidence thing again. I mean, first time I ever conferred a degree. I mean, that was like, holy crap, all these words. How am I going to do this? How am I going to remember all this? And it's just kind of, after you work at it, I mean, it just kind of flows. It's a piece of cake after that. And you're like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I can do this.
Yeah. I conferred a fellowcraft 6 months ago. Conferring one again on Thursday. So while I was up north over the weekend, I took out the book a little bit. I figured it's nice and quiet up here. I don't have the wife here. I don't have the daughter here. It's just me at the cabin. This is a perfect time to study, right? Man, I studied for like an hour and I can confer the whole thing again. And I'm like, well, that came back to you way faster than I expected.
Just kind of dust it off.
It's amazing.
It's fun in the way that, like, you understand that, like, this building that confidence, you actually get better at memorizing stuff and putting on stuff. I'm actually pretty terrified that now I'm going to actually have to confer degrees next year because, you know, but it's nice.
If elected, right?
Yeah.
But it's also nice that it kind of all builds on itself, too, so it gets a little harder each step so that you don't feel like you're taking a big plunge into the water and just being like, oh my God, I have to memorize everything. It's just like you kind of like work your way up to it, so I'm also excited, though, too.
You're going to get that in a nice small dose right off the bat, too, since we're doing that rusty nail degree.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun, right? Oh, my God, I need to start studying.
Yeah, that's cool.
I need to study so bad.
We'll be advertising that soon.
Yep, we'll get that.
Very nice.
Cool. You got any other questions you want to ask our boy Trent here?
I don't know. It's hard because I've known Trent for quite a while now. And I mean,
it's been a while. Yeah.
We might go a little bit without talking, but I know so much about him. it was the same way with Jeff, but both of us were in the same boat, right? Mm-hmm. Both Andrew and I were in the same boat. That we both know Jeff really well, so it was kind of hard to come up with some of those questions for Jeff.
Right.
In this particular circumstance, it was a little more fun because I know you better than Andrew does. Mm-hmm. So, Andrew was really going to be able to be the one that would have some of those questions that are poking at his curiosity. And,
right.
We used to stay up till 3 a.m. during the pandemic playing
lots
GTA.
Of video games and alcohol. It got pretty fun. I know.
And then all that's changed. But, we really had the opportunity to have a lot of those conversations and really get to know each other.
Absolutely.
We were all locked in our houses and, we needed some outlet to interact with other people, which was great. That playing all those games and stuff, that was really worked out well for keeping me sane during that pandemic.
We had a good group of people, too, honestly.
Yeah, it was always a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun. I do have one question because we haven't brought this up, and I'm surprised Andrew didn't ask it. Yeah. Since we are doing this from a practical Freemasonry side, and we're trying to display the differences and the backgrounds of people and what they do, and for a career and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
What do you do for a career, and is there any of the principles of Freemasonry that you feel like have helped you at work?
We love giving
questions all the time. I never necessarily tied the job to it. Yeah, no. So for work, I am a surgical technologist lead down Burlington Elkhorn area there for one of the major hospital systems. A lot of the stuff, not only working in the cases, I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff now too with it, help contacting reps and helping kind of order instrumentation and kind of scheduling in-services, trainings, whatever, and being kind of direct resource, I guess, to kind of the other techs, I guess, underneath me. I'm not too much higher by any means, but but I guess how do I tie that with that? That's interesting. I like that. So it's given me probably more comfortable just talking to people. Outside of the company. When we're kind of doing emergent stuff and we're kind of trying to schedule things, it's like, okay, we need to talk to this person, we need to get this here. Just being able to use the skills that I've gained to kind of help prioritize that and to be able to communicate effectively with them, plus my team, plus everyone else. Just across the board, helping streamline things and making things go off without a hitch as much as possible.
Excellent. Ties back to that leadership skill.
Yeah, I think leadership is a huge one. That we should actually start really marketing that as Mason's Dig. We'll make you. I think that's on that little
it is on that little thing, but there's got to be a way to tie it into a nice, clean, short advertising, because we have the be more than a man, be a Mason, or whatever it is.
Not just a man, yeah.
Not just a man, a Mason, right? Not just a man, a Mason, a leader, a couple bullet points,
Right.
What do we think we should put that as? We could put our own ad out on Facebook. It'd be not just a man, a leader, a community leader, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, you can figure something out with it. There's something fun lurking there.
A leader, a friend.
Right. There's something lurking there.
A dude.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you got some news for us, Andrew?
I do have some news. Well, let's kick off the news section then now, but I'm going to. All right, let's get into some news. What's been going on in the state of Wisconsin? The first piece of news I have here is about Ozaki Lodge 175's anniversary and rededication / dyslexia fundraisers. The brothers and families had showed up at Port Washington Masonic Center on October 21st to do the rededication of Ozaki Lodge 17. It's a celebration and a fundraiser that they were doing for the Children's Dyslexia Centers, and it was hosted by Brother Dave Taylor. Acting Deputy Grandmaster Earl Gunderson, at the request of the officers of Rizaki Lodge, came out there and helped do the rededication and the reconsecration. The Grandmaster was also in attendance and asked the stewards to uncover the symbolic lodge, and it was apparently a really, really fun and good rededication. And then after the event, they actually went out to do a fundraiser along with silent auction to help raise money for the Children's Dyslexia Centers. So overall, a really good day. It's fun that they were able to do the reconsecration, and it's great news out there.
Excellent. So another piece of news for you guys is the Brethren of Glen L. Humphrey Lodge, number 364 at 3 Pillars, presented 9 scholarships to 3 Pillars employees as an investment into their education and training. The total amount given between those 9 was $7,250.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Since the inception of the 3 Pillar Scholarships, there have been 155 recipients for a total of $103,450, which is pretty impressive. And I'm just going to read a little part of the article here. I'm assuming this is probably Brother Frank McKenna that's being quoted here because he wrote it. So, in 2022, we had few applicants. We realize that the term scholarship tends to communicate funding for college. Not everyone pursues a college education. At the same time, education is necessary for a great number of careers, which has tended to be defined as technical education. And so it seems like, the key thing to remember with these scholarships is it's not for necessarily a 4-year degree, it's for, technical education and all sorts of things.
So any sort of what's they call advanced education? So
or continuing education. It seems like, that's probably really helpful for the people that work at 3 Pillars that are getting those scholarships and are able to get better at their job because of it, or
jumpstart their career in something as well. I mean, I think that's a great thing that we can offer to, working at a senior living facility. That's a really, really hard job, and so it's pretty cool that we have that scholarship being going out as an option for them.
Excellent. Yep. Agreed.
All right, let's do some events. What is going on this month and into next month? So, on November 4th, Chippewa Valley DeMolay is having a pancake breakfast at Eau Claire Masonic Center, which is at 616 Graham Ave. It's going to be, the cost is just a free will offering, so it's, kind of just donate what you'd like. We love pancake breakfast as Masons, and, it's always good to support the youth group, so stop on down to Chippewa Valley, DeMolay's Pancake Breakfast if you're in the area. On November 11th, Bear Lodge number 34 is having their 7th annual free chili dinner. It's going to start at 11 a.m. and go till 2 p.m., and it's going to actually kind of raise money to support the Wisconsin Badger Honor Flight. So, on November 12th, we have the first annual Freeze Fest, which is going to be at H.L. Palmer Lodge at the Northwest Masonic Center to raise money for the Children's Dyslexia Centers. So basically what you need if you want to participate is you're going to have a teams of 4 within your lodge. You got to get 4 guys together.
We need to find 2 other guys.
We actually should get that done this week, to be honest. And more or less what the competition is you're all going to have maximum of 10 minutes to sit in a ice cold tub, and you basically, per person, it calculates how long you can stay up to that 10 minutes, and that'll be how you rank your score. And my understanding is there's a certain donation amount that you're offering as your lodge based on every minute or every second you stay in the tub is like 4 cents or something per second. Oh. So the more you win, the more you pay. So it's a double whammy, but it's a good way to it's a good and fun way to raise money for the Children's Dyslexia Center. Don't worry, they will have fires. They do recommend putting blankets. I think there's blanket donations as well you can do there. They're kind of doing a bunch of stuff, honestly, on this event. And so, really cool event. If anyone's interested, please reach out to H.L. Palmer, and I highly recommend people sign up. And I think at Lake we're going to try to get a team out there. Next on the list, 11, 13 through 18, November 13th through 18th, Zor Shriners are doing their Festival of the Trees at the Spartan Masonic Center. It's going to be Monday through Friday, 4 to 8 p.m. On Saturdays, it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. it's a great opportunity, more or less. The Festival of Trees, you're bidding on trees, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and they come with like gifts and presents under them, and it's like always a very fun and popular event. It's a great way to get into the Christmas season. On 11/15. Oh yeah, you can go now.
Yep. But real quick, since we're talking about Festival of Trees, Trent, you want to talk about Triple S?
Yeah, so Triple I will also be holding their 6th annual Festival of Trees, November 18th through 25th. So it's Saturday to Saturday. I think every day is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., other than Saturday the 25th, it'll go until 5 p.m. It's going to be $5 each for adults, children under 12 are free. Usually, those that have been to Triple I, they the big ballroom there, but fill that to the brim with 70 trees, roughly 60, 70 trees. Obviously, you buy raffle tickets, you stick your ticket in there. Winners at the end, you get the tree plus everything underneath. It's really cool. Plus, I mean, Santa might be there too, so it's a picture opportunity.
Excellent. I'm going to have to try to get there this year. It's a really hard time of year for those of us that go gun deer hunting. Because you started on opening day and you run it through the second weekend.
Deer season, I know, right?
Yeah. So I'll try to make it during the week, though. I'll be back in town during the week.
It's a good family event, too. I feel like kids love seeing all those lit up trees. And honestly, going to the Triple I Shrine, it's such a gorgeous building. You might as well take the chance to pay a visit.
All dolled up like that, yeah. It's special. It really is.
Yeah, I'm sure Zoe will enjoy it if we go. Alright, so on 11/15, Prairie du Chien Lodge number 8 has their annual deer camp night. A lot of deer talk on this episode. Maybe we should become a sportsman's podcast. I don't know. So they have their annual deer camp night, meal at 6:30, followed by a program. It says wear your finest camouflage or blaze orange, or both. Do a little mix and match, that makes it more fun. Open to friends and family, and it's at the Prairie du Chien Masonic Center. If we have anybody that listens from Prairie du Chien, I can mark my words, I am going to make it out there for this one of these years. I'm going to take that drive. It's during the week, that's hard. On 11/18, the Silas Shepherd Lodge of Research, number 1843, winter meeting and installation is going on. 9 a.m. coffee and carbs, 10 a.m. meeting. It's at the Lake Country Freemasons Masonic Center. RSVP on our lodge page or email Silas Shepherd at silasshepard.shepherd1843@gmail.com. And then on 11/23, Reedsburg Lodge number 79 is having their 26th annual Masonic Senior Citizens Thanksgiving Dinner.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be at the Reedsburg United Methodist Church from noon to 1. Carry out and delivery only, so basically they're cooking the food for you to come and grab it, or they'll bring it to you. Let's see, delivery is only within the Reedsburg city limits, and I don't know if I should read somebody's phone number.
Nah, it's fine. You can always just come and reach out to Reedsburg Lodge. Find their information online or via the Our Lodge page.
Yep, I'm sure it's out there. And then Trent, would you like to plug what Burlington's got going on?
Yeah, of course. So Thursday, November 30th is the third. It's the 5th Thursday of the month. We're going to hold our gentleman's night. So we're going to have a good selection of assorted different beers provided by our brothers. We're going to do a dinner starting around 6. We $10 for Masons. It's open to all Masons, so anyone in the area, feel free to come on down. As well as any men 21 and over as well. So anyone that's interested in learning more or just wants to have a good time, we welcome them and encourage them to come down.
What's for dinner?
I do not know that yet.
TBD.
To be determined, yeah.
I know the last one we went to, it was German food, so it was pretty good last time I went. But awesome. Well, those are our events. That's our news. Trent, thank you so much for coming on and joining us today, doing a weird podcast. A lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And thank you to all of our listeners. A big shout out to our Brooklyn listeners, a surprising number of people in Brooklyn. I wanted to give them a shout out, and all the people listening within and outside of state. It's awesome to have you on this journey. And I'll see you next time.
Take it easy.